Welcome back, and in this episode we're going to look at the first stages on what you need to do when you've got your camper van. So you've just bought your van, where do you start? Our other vehicle is a brand new vehicle, so it needs very little preparation. So what we've actually done is got one of the oldest vehicles we have in our sort of stock at the moment, which, to be fair, this one is still actually in pretty good condition. Now, as you can see, we've removed all the ply lining, floor, walls. You don't tend to have anything on the ceiling. We've got everything removed, and the first things we're going to be doing is looking at cleaning and preparing this van. Now, because you're going to be building on this, things that are in here right now and hidden, it's important we take care of everything that might not look like a problem right now could potentially become a problem later on. So let's look at the different things we need to do to prepare this van ready for its build. A lot of vehicles, when they're ply lined, are going to be fixed through the metal work. So you can see here we've got a couple of screws, and this is from what would have been holding the ply floor down, so we need to take care of those. We can see we have some bare metal here from some scratches. We're also going to need to take care of that as well. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for any holes, scratches, rust, anything like that is what we need to take care of right now. And we also need to take care of these tie down bolts that are going through the floor. Now, in this van there's only one, but some other vans will have quite a few more, and we're going to show you what to do with this. But as you can see, right now, the floor's quite dirty, so the first thing we're going to do is give this van a clean. Now we've got a nice clean van, we can now clearly see any areas where maybe sort of damaged. You can see again a lot of scratching along here. So first thing we're going to do is get treatment on that bare metal, and I'll show you what we use. When it comes to treating the metal, we use primer along with a primer applicator. Now these are in our Amazon shop in the link below, so you'll find a variety of what we use will already be there for you. What we're going to do, get some of the primer onto the applicator as such, and then where the bare metal is, so if we start over here, we're just going to cover all the bare metal in primer to make sure that there is no bare metal exposed. Right, so that's scratched there down. I can see a little bit more just along the back there, and then we also seen some more around by the sliding door area, so we've got quite a lot down here. These are quite big deep scratches, so again this has all been nicely cleaned, and now we can treat all of this. Now, I'm not too worried about the colour, because obviously we do later on, we're going to have a floor going on this vehicle. What's important right now is that this metal is treated so that it cannot rust in future. Okay, so that's our bare metal. You sort of said you may have scratches, you may have rust. Now, if you've got rust in your vehicle, you're going to need to break that rust down. You're going to want to use either a wire brush, you can use a sander, but you need to get rid of that rust. Once you've got rid of that rust, you're back to that bit, nice bare metal, you can then treat that area. God, there's some more here as well. So there's some, this is it. See, once you've cleaned the vehicle, you will see and find these extra bits you simply did not see before. Now, the other thing we got to deal with are these holes. Right now, we can see we've got 2 holes here from the ply line, and there'll be several throughout this van. So what we're going to do is just get some treatment on these, and we'll let that dry. Once that's dried, we'll show you what we're going to do with that next. There is a couple of steps we need to do with these holes to make sure that we're both treating them and fully sealing them, both from above but also from underneath. Now what I'm going to do is just go around the van and check for any more bare metal and get that treated as well. Just like the floor, you have your ply screwed into the floor and you've got holes from them screws. You're going to have the same in the walls, as you can see here. And again, we don't need to plug these particular holes because they are not on the floor. Say the problem with the holes in the floor is they literally go to the outside, whereas these don't. So all we're going to do now is just go around like so, and we're just going to treat them. Okay, so we've gone around and we've primed all the bare metal, all the holes, so I'm now confident that there is no bare metal inside this van. Now what we need to do is start plugging the floor, because we've got nice circular holes in the floor. What we're actually going to use is your rivets. So you can use a manual rivet gun. We do this a lot, so we have got an electric one. These are aluminium rivets, so we know they're not gonna rust. And what we're gonna do is just place it in the hole, place our gun on the spine of the rivet, holding down firmly. That is now riveted. So I'll do the other one. Right, they've been riveted. Now another popular area that quite often has holes is the wheel arches, because you'll have the wheel arch boxes typically in a van, and we can see on these wheel arches we have a hole straight on top, so we also need to rivet these. So we've actually already been around the rest of this floor and it's already been riveted, so we now have all the holes in this van that go to the exterior of the van have all been riveted. But we can't stop there. There is just one more thing we need to do with these rivets to protect them both inside and outside. So the primer you've used earlier to prime the bare metal holes, we're now just going to add a layer on top of the heads of the rivets, but underneath we need to use a different product to get that sealed as well. Underneath the van we've now got rivet heads, so we need to go under there, and what we're going to use is the Hammerite underbody seal with wax oil. So we're going to find all the rivets that are going through the floor underneath and give them a generous coating in this. That's going to protect then the outside as well. Then we've got a sealed van. Now, as part of the cleaning and prep stage, you may have also noticed at this point in time we have left the bulkhead in. We leave the bulkhead in because at the moment that is protecting the cab. It's keeping any sort of dust and out while we're taking ply lining out. We've also got some cutting in the van to do, which will be our next video. So we leave that in for now until we've done a bit more work on the van, just to protect that cab a little bit. The last job we have to do is now remove all the tie downs. So we've got a few on the walls, and on this particular model we got one on the floor. Most of these vehicles, the ones on the floors, they're in riv nuts that go right through the floor. So again, when we take that out, we're going to have a hole in the floor. So I'm going to just show you how to seal that up and make that good, ready for you to move on to the next stage. First thing we're going to do, let's get them all off. And finally, the one on the floor. Now for this one, we want to keep the bolt because we're going to reuse this in a moment. But for now, we need to clean this area, get it treated, and the bolt is going to be going back in. Right, so we're going to use a polyurethane based sealant. We don't use silicone in camper vans because silicone tends to come away with the vibrations, so we use a nice strong polyurethane. With the hole that the screws in, we're just going to put a liberal amount of sealant there. We're going to get our bolt, and we're actually going to be putting these bolts back in. We'll give that a clean up and we'll just leave that be. That has now sealed that hole, and that's all we need to do. At this stage is now where we will also check the seals on the van. So we're going to check around the rear door seals and the sliding door seal just to make sure that they're in a good state of repair. It's easier to change these now, so if you have got splits or damage to them, just replace them, because the last thing you're going to want is when your camper van is completed is water coming in. If any of the black primer you've used to treat your van is visible once the van is completed, we'll simply go get a rattle can to match this van's colour, and we will go over it because we don't want that showing later on. And there's one more step. You'll see on your vans you're going to have these support panels that are going up against the single skin, and you can just see here some sort of bonding that's holding the panel onto these. Now quite often, especially on older vehicles, they wear off and become loose. If that happens, using the same PU silicone we just used on that floor bolt, we're going to use to get it in between these support structures and the single skin, just to make sure they are definitely bonded. Now what we can do to check is just push by here, and we're just watching this gap to see if there's any sort of separation. We can see that one is solid. That one is also solid as well. Now we have had brand new vehicles where those have come away, but this one is a good one. I can see they're all good, so we don't need to do anything more on that. So that completes our cleaning preparation video. So at this stage, your van should look something like this, or it might look like, you know, a child has been going around it with all their doodles, but that's a good thing. We want it all treated, we want it all ready to now start converting into a camper van. Join us in the next video where we're going to start cutting holes in the vehicle.